everyone, so for today's video I'm going to be doing a sort of little mini review and first impressions on some of the Huda Beauty liquid matte lipsticks. I have tried lashes by Huda Beauty before in the style Sasha and I absolutely love them. I've worn them in a video before, which I'll link them down below. And I've heard a lot about these liquid lipsticks, and I recently went to Harrods in Knightsbridge, which is in London, and I saw that they had the sort of mini editions and thought I'd pick them up and it'd be a perfect opportunity to try them without having to pick like one colour in particular. I think there's 4 different ones you can get. There's the nude edition, pink edition, red edition and brown edition. Some of them do cross between each other, so if you got all 4 sets you wouldn't get like 16 completely different colours. Some of them would be duplicates, but I decided to pick up the nude edition. So this is what they look like. So as you can see, you get 4 colours, and then on the back they are the 4 colours you get. I will do some swatches and some lip swatches as well, but I think with any like Huda Beauty products, the packaging is very simple, but I think it's very nice. So it just comes in a little sort of slide box, and it's similar to the lashes. You get like the plastic sleeve, and then you've got the 4 lipsticks in here. I'm not exactly sure the sizing of the normal lipsticks. Also, I'm not sure about the prices of a single lipstick, so I'll have all the information linked down below. But for these 4 minis it was £33, which can seem a little bit expensive, but the fact that you get 4 different colours and you seem to get a decent amount of product as well, so I don't think it's too bad. Just in comparison, so this is the Huda Beauty Mini, and then this is a Jeffree Star liquid lipstick. So it is only slightly smaller. Obviously you get a lot less product than what you would get in the Jeffree Star lipstick, but I think that's not a bad thing. As I said, as obviously these are a mini sort of version, it feels almost like it's glass, but I think it's probably just a very strong plastic, and then the lid is like a plastic as well. It looks like it'd be similar to like the NARS like rubbery packaging, but it's not. It is like a plastic. So I feel like I've not really seen many people like review them. I've just more seen people actually using them, so I wanted to give them a test for myself and see how they wear. I have heard Huda herself talk about them quite a lot on her social media. She does seem to have put a lot of work into the formula of these to make sure that they aren't drying in any way and they wear nicely, and there does seem to be a nice colour range as well. So I'm pretty excited to give these a go. From the picture on the back, the colours do look really nice, and I am more of a nude kind of lipstick wearer. I feel like between all of these, hopefully I'll either find my colour or have the right kind of tones to be able to mix my perfect colour. So I'm just going to go sort of lightest to darkest. So the colour Venus is the first colour that I'm going to use, and I'm going to start off by, I haven't swatched these at all, so I don't know how like pigmented they are, but this is a swatch of Venus. Oh. So the colour does seem really pigmented. It seems like quite a kind of neutral nude, not too dark, not too light. I feel like this would suit quite a lot of people. It's still not dry yet on the back of my hand, so it will be interesting to see how this wears on the lips. I did put on some lip balm on my lips earlier, so I'm just going to wipe all that off just so I've got a nice base. I know that Huda does some lip pencils as well, which I think match at least some of the colours in her liquid lipstick range, so I'm just going to apply this on my lip. So it does glide on really, really nice, and it is very pigmented and almost watery, I'd say, in texture. So I'm guessing the applicator is probably the same for the big and little, but there's barely any product on the brush. I know that you're not normally supposed to rub your lips together when you do apply liquid lipstick, but it does feel pretty smooth. So I'm just going to leave that to dry for a minute. It seems to have pretty much dried on the back of my hand. There is still a slight sheen to it. The only thing is I feel like the colour looks a lot more, because this is the colour here, and I feel like it looks a lot more cool toned. So this is the colour here that I've just applied, and it just looks completely different to what it's come out on my lips. I know that obviously it will look different on different people, and I think these are actually Huda's lips herself, so it will look slightly different, but I do quite like this colour. It does seem very similar to like my Jeffree Star Celebrity Skin and my Dose of Colours Truffle. It's a very similar kind of slightly deeper nude. Obviously I am very fair, so it will come out a lot darker on me. It seems to have dried now. I feel like you can see the lines on my lips, which, you know, I think it just depends on how your lips are as to whether or not they are really smooth. I definitely don't apply as much lip balm as what I should do anyway, but in terms of how comfortable it is, it does feel less drying than normal liquid lipsticks that I use. It's slightly sticky, but nothing like too major. It has come off a little bit. Whether or not that's just because I haven't let it dry long enough, I'm not sure, but this has been on my hand longer than it has been on my lips, so it does smudge. And you know, normally with liquid lipsticks you don't have to wait that long for them to dry before they are dry, and there is some benefits to the fact that it's not dry yet. Obviously it gives you a lot longer to work with the product. I feel like it allows you more time to get more of an even coverage, and if you want to layer up, that's something that you can do as well. I feel like the problem is with some liquid lipsticks is because they set so much, they are too drying. So maybe the kind of way of getting around that is to have a lipstick that is more like this. It definitely seems to be drying down a little bit more. So I've got nothing on the back of my hand now, so if I push, it does transfer ever so slightly, but it hasn't disturbed the product at all. So overall I think it's nice, and I think hopefully that will allow it to wear off nicer during the day, and also just feel a little bit more comfortable during the day. I feel like if you were eating and drinking, it probably would wear off slightly, but obviously I've only had it on for like a minute or so, so it is hard to judge things like this the first time you wear it. But I just wanted to show more of the colours in the application first of all. So this is the colour Venus. So I'm just going to take this off with a makeup wipe, so I'll see how easily it comes off. So that did come off pretty easily, and that probably has more to do with the fact that I've not even really had it on for that long. So that's not something that I personally take as a negative. It doesn't seem to have stained my lips, which is one thing that sometimes I really don't like about liquid lipsticks, just in case, you know, you put it on and then you think, actually I don't really fancy wearing that one. It's so hard to get off. So the next colour that I'm going to use is Bombshell. Bombshell seems to be more of one of the kind of cult favourites from the brand. I'll do a swatch of it first. This is probably the colour that I would have thought of myself going for at first, seeing all the colours online. But in person it does look like it's going to be slightly more pink toned. So that is the colour Bombshell there. And it definitely comes across as more of like a peachy pinky colour compared to the Venus colour, which seems to be a little bit more kind of a brownie nude. So I'm just going to apply this again. I've taken most of the product off the brush. Again, the application feels very similar. Already I can kind of see why this would be a favourite colour, because it seems to be a really nice like tone. It's something very different, and I feel like people with deeper skins would love this as a nude, and for someone with more fair skin it would seem like a fun colour to wear in like the summer. So no matter how many times you kind of rub over your lips with it while it's still drying, it doesn't go streaky whatsoever. It doesn't seem to move the product around too much, and it seems to settle in quite nicely. So again, that applied amazingly. It really is a very smooth product, and it almost feels like it has a little bit of like moisture in it as well. I actually like this colour a lot more than what I thought. I will do swatches at the end, sort of showing them all together, but I actually do really like this colour. I think it's a really nice kind of soft, subtle colour, and I think that maybe even the two of these mixed together would be a perfect kind of everyday nude for me. So yeah, I really like that colour. Again, I've got it in the back of my hand. It still feels quite like I can move, I can talk. It's still not drying yet, so I feel like it does take longer to dry than other liquid lipsticks, but I find myself not wearing them as much. I only tend to wear them for videos, or if I'm going out then I'll wear them, but I normally take them with me and make sure that I have a lot of like lip balm on maybe half an hour before I apply them. This one doesn't seem as kind of sticky as the other one, as Venus did. So I'm guessing that maybe depending on the like pigments that are in it, and you know, maybe sort of slightly different products had to be used in each lipstick to get the perfect colour. There might be slight differences between colours. I know that sometimes people say that, you know, maybe lighter colours are a little bit streakier than darker colours in some brands of liquid lipsticks, and there's not always consistency with every single colour. I feel like this formula, for me personally, is slightly better. It feels nicer. It is getting to that sticky stage now, so it is drying down a little bit more. Obviously I will kind of do a wear test, and I'll wear them for a few hours, and I'll keep putting my sort of mouth on my hand to see if it constantly transfers throughout the day, because I might find that after an hour the colour's still there, but when I do like this it doesn't transfer whatsoever. So I've got no product on the back of this hand again, so it does still transfer slightly even after it's dried down, which, as I said, isn't the end of the world for me. I tend to find that if I'm going to be out eating and drinking in particular, especially with eating, I don't really personally tend to wear lipstick. It's only if I'm going out for a few drinks that I will actually put it on, and even then, like I said, I will, you know, take whatever I'm wearing out with me, and I will generally be using a straw anyway to drink, so that's something that would help sort of it wear a lot longer. Yeah, I really do like this colour. I think it looks really nice, and I am really impressed with the formula on this one in particular. So again, I'm gonna see how, so it still does smudge a little bit, but as I said, I feel like that's probably something that in the formula stops it from being so drying, which other liquid lipsticks sort of maybe use to help set it and dry completely matte. It does look matte, but it doesn't look flat. It has got a little bit of like a, almost like a sheen to it, but it doesn't look like it's glossy. So again, that come off really easily. It doesn't, my lips look a bit red, but I think that's probably more from me kind of wiping it off. So the next colour I'm gonna go with is Flirt, and it looks, on here it just looks like a slightly darker version than Venus. Almost the same way that this trendsetter colour here is almost like a slightly darker, maybe more warm toned version of Bombshell. These two colours here seem to be more of the cult favourites that most people tend to buy. For me, I feel like so far I would wear all of the colours on their own. So this is the colour Flirt. In the packaging it does look very brown, so it'll be interesting to see how it looks on me. So that is a swatch right there. It definitely looks a lot more brown, but it does look more of a brownie nude than just kind of straight up brown. I'm going to apply this on my lips now. I feel like for me, this is the kind of colour that if you wanted to start getting into like deeper colours like browns, this is a nice colour to start with, because it's not too dark. It's still kind of classed as a nude, but it's just more of like a darker nude. But again, this seems to just be applying really nicely. I can go over the top of it and use more product on the other side of the applicator to get more of a sort of deeper pigment, but it doesn't disturb the product underneath. I feel like I've not applied that as neatly as the others, but I actually really like this colour. I feel like it's very different, but because it's not just a complete brown, it's not just a complete nude, it kind of makes the look a little bit different. It gives you that kind of effect of having a deeper lip, but without having something that's so in your face, and you know, it wouldn't make me feel so self-conscious just to wear it out. I feel like people with like really deep skin tones, like, you know, like NC50 kind of thing, this would look absolutely gorgeous, and people that are even paler than me, it would look stunning on. So I do think that this is a colour that anyone can use. It has got a slight kind of almost purpley mauvey tone to it, which I think is what makes it that much more wearable, but the formula does feel very similar, especially to the Bombshell colour. It seems to dry a little bit quicker than the other two, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because it's already gone to that sticky stage. But I feel like because my lips aren't really pigmented at all, colours really show true on my lips as to what they look on a swatch or in the tube, whereas, you know, people that have got more pigmented lips tend to find that, you know, the colours might change slightly. I definitely think that it is a darker colour than the Venus shade, and even in in the tube it looks it. I think that it has got a little bit more of a cooler undertone. Again, I've got nothing on the back of my hand. And the one thing that I think is nice is, even though the colours that I'm using are getting darker and darker, I feel like I'm not, you know, I am getting a slightly more obvious kind of imprint, but, you know, it's not like I'm losing a lot of the product. Obviously, I'm sure if I was to do it like, you know, 50 times or something, it would probably wear off a lot quicker. I don't think it's something that's too bad. So I am really impressed with this. I think it does look really nice. Again, it does still feel wet on my hand, and I just think that's down to the fact that the formula has been made so it's not too drying, and that's just one of the things. I would rather have a formula that maybe smudges a little bit. I don't feel like it would smudge too much sort of around my mouth, but obviously I feel like with most lipsticks, if you were to kind of rub your mouth or something, it probably would smudge a little bit. It's probably a little bit messier to take off just because it is a slightly darker colour, and my lips just seem a little bit red, and that'll be from where I am constantly wiping on them. So the last colour is Trendsetter, and obviously, as I said, this is the colour that seems to be like a cult favourite. I feel like this and Bombshell, even when she came out with her lip pencils, there were two colours that were used in there, that they were the colours that were sold out the quickest. At the moment, I feel like on me it's probably not going to be one of my favourites. Something like Bombshell would be, just because I am more fair, but it might surprise me. So this is the swatch of Trendsetter. It definitely does look just like a deeper version of Bombshell, or even a deeper version of Bombshell and Venus mixed together, because it does have that kind of nudiness to it, whereas Bombshell is that little bit more peachy. So I'm just going to apply this straight on my lips. I feel like because of the consistency of these are very smooth and almost watery, it would be a lot easier to mix colours together. Whereas because most liquid lipsticks dry quite quickly, even if you were to put two colours on the back of your hand and mix them up, you then don't have a lot of time to apply them, and without having to like get the applicators all messy mixing up colours directly on your lips, this is probably one of the easiest ways that you could do it. So that is what Trendsetter looks, and I didn't think it would be, but I do feel like it's my favourite colour out of all of them. I just think that it's like a warm, the kind of warm tone nude that I've been looking for. I've really wanted to get my hands on like Kylie Jenner's Ginger, or the Beauty Bakery, I think it's Ginger Snap. I feel like this one probably looks the most like how it does on the box on me. It's such a nice colour, and especially with a warm toned eye, I think it's just perfect. Again, it's not too sticky. The application of these, because of the consistency, they're just so easy to apply, and they're so easy just to get a really smooth line. I feel like this one probably makes my lips, like the texture of my lips, look the best for some reason. I don't know if it's the colour or maybe the texture's slightly different, but I just think it looks amazing. So I am super impressed with all of these. I think that they are probably one of the best formulas of liquid lipstick I have used. First impression wise, obviously I am going to wear, and I'm going to wear this colour for as long as I can for the rest of the day. It is only about 12:30 now anyway. I feel like I'll be able to give these a good test, see how they wear, even with like eating and drinking and things like that, how comfortable they get, whether or not they dry, whether or not they sort of rub off in the middle or anything like that. But if they stand the test sort of throughout the day, then I definitely plan on picking up more colours. So just so you can sort of see them all compared next to each other, I want to do some swatches sort of close up. So this first one is Venus. The second one is Bombshell. So you can see the more sort of peachiness in Bombshell than in Venus. The next one is Flirt. You can definitely see the brown in that slightly more. And then the last one is Trendsetter. It just looks like a warm tone version of Flirt. It's a similar sort of depth. So definitely let me know if you've tried any of these before, even the full size ones, and if you have a particular colour that you really love. This does make me also want to pick up the lip liners as well. Let me know what you think about these, if you've tried them, or if you haven't, I would definitely recommend picking them up. I know that they do sell them on Cult Beauty as well. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe if you haven't already. And also thank you so much for 500 subscribers. I will still pick up things for the giveaway, so that will be happening hopefully sometime this month. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.